All right, it seems like all those people that was marching at the state capitol building owes Big Gretch an apology. She also made some news today. We'll talk about the news first before we talk about the coronavirus big news she made. So hit the subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. Appreciate everybody for checking in. And one thing I want to get out there is that she has extended the state of emergency order that is different from the stay-at-home order for people that's been getting angry and upset with her. This state of emergency order is going to allow people not to be evicted out of their homes. It was set to expire, I believe, June 30th. It's supposed to extend into July and maybe further past July. So, it goes on. It's really about, a lot of things that the state is going through, rent and stuff of that nature. So she's extended the state of emergency, and that's good. A lot of people are facing eviction, and we talked about in our eviction video the other day, a lot of, around the country, nationally, there are landlords still trying to evict tenants. Even it was a story down there in Georgia where, one of the landlords hired somebody to act like they was the sheriff, the bailiff, and they came impersonating the bailiff and evicted somebody. Okay. These landlords, a lot of them is slumlords. It's very, very few really, really good landlords out here, man, especially in the city of Detroit and across the country. So, at the end of the day, hopefully that family does sue them, and, that landlord and whoever impersonated a cop goes to jail for that. Okay. And I know some people around the way that's been getting evicted, which they shouldn't be getting evicted. And we also talked about the $31 million that the federal government sent to Detroit to help with the relief, the rent relief fund. So they're going to be helping people that I guess did get evicted, find a new place, people that's behind on their rent, get up to speed on their rent. So I'm not sure how they're going to, distribute those funds amongst the city of Detroit. But the history of, inner cities in the United States, it's been misuse of funds. All right. May it be taxpayers' money, may it be, grants that we get. Every inner city seems to get played. The money doesn't go to the schools. It doesn't go to the after school programs. It doesn't go to the streets. It don't go to the homeless. Somehow it finds itself back in a politician's pocket or to a politician's homie's pocket, like what's going on with the construction in Michigan, especially in the Metro Detroit area, where usually the governor or some politician hired a boy to do the job, and they don't want to put down good asphalt. They put down cheap asphalt so the roads can break up another 5 or 7, 10 years, and they can always keep working and getting money. Half the city money is going to construction work, which if they just spent the money and put the right asphalt down there, you don't have to worry about it for a long, long time. They had this German dude back in the day came in there and told them what they need to do, and they refused to do it. And now you have, those bridges collapsing and stuff, and that's what happened when you take the cheap way. But she also made news today by saying that schools will open in the fall. I do know they are having limited amount of students in the Metro Detroit area for summer school. You got the option to do it virtual, or you got the option to come in. So right now, she's saying this will be school in fall. Their plan is to limit the number of kids in the classroom, and that's damn near impossible because it used to be possible that you can do that if you was able to step up, transportation, because it used to be a school in every neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? It used to be a school in every neighborhood. You rode around, Schoolcraft and Linden, VTOL shut down. You go Finkel Telegraph, Murphy shut down. There used to be enough schools for that to happen, where you can limit the number of kids, and the kids that can't fit in the school in the neighborhood, you have the next closest school bust them to that, bust them there. That's no longer an option. So I don't know in Detroit, where you already got the classes super stuffed, where are you going to send the kids? Are you going to reopen some of these other schools and make them temporary, so you don't have to stuff 30, 40 kids in a room? Because if you talk about social distancing to a classroom, you really talking about maybe you get away with 10, maybe 15 at the most. So you're not going to be able to really social distance that way. You know what I'm saying? You're not. So I don't know how they're gonna social distance at school and limit the number of, people per classroom in the city of Detroit. Because it's just not that many schools left, especially when we talk about high school. So that's going to be an interesting thing to do. But is it really safe for your kid to go to school? You know, some people can say it's safe for their kids to go to school and say one thing and believe another, but you really don't have an option. Because if you're going back to work, where the kids going to be at during the school day? So, you know, best chance is to stock up on school supplies now. Stock up on, you know, Clorox wipes. Stock up on some masks. Stock up on some hand sanitizer. And we got to risk it. It's about to really get ugly out here because Trump already said he's not shutting the economy down again for the coronavirus. So we in a position where, you know, we're going to have to take a lot of risks. We're going to have to sacrifice some people's lives. And it's unfortunate when you talk about a school, the schools and kids spread germs like wildfire, you know. So, you know, it seemed like the economy and the money is more important than lives because they haven't put any programs in place to protect the customer or to protect the business. So that's why you see landlords talking about they want their money for the simple fact of, guess what? You know, they got property taxes to pay. You know what I'm saying? If they a landlord and they had an apartment complex, or they agreed to pay the water, or you agreed to pay the heat and electricity, whatever the situation bill you paying, you know, right then and there, you still owe that money, but you're not getting your rent. So they got a legitimate gripe. And all these small businesses out here, and they letting these gyms shut down and this, that, and the third, and these restaurants shut down. They still having all that small business relief money. Where did that money go? It went to the Lakers. It went to big businesses. Mike Morrison went to Shake Shack. Businesses that didn't need it. And we just talked about the misuse of funds in the history of the inner cities, not just Detroit, LA, you know, New York City. I mean, you can just keep going on and on. You know, how they misuse funds. And the reason why most cities are in the way they in is because a lot of politicians back in the day misused the funds. So I don't know if it's going to be safe for kids to go back to school. But it's not going to be convenient if you have to work for your kids to stay at home and do virtual school. So if you got to still work and go to work, and you got to still pay the bills, who's going to watch your kids? Do you trust your kids to sit at home and do virtual school and do it? You probably not. Especially when you any age. You talk from kindergarten all the way up to, you know, the 12th grade. No. You know, so it's gonna be a lot of chances and risks being taken in the city of Detroit, in cities everywhere. You know, so you know it's unfortunate that it got to be that way, and hopefully they're able to find a cure. And a lot of people are gonna be pretty much, you know, cautious about taking the vaccine. You know, with all the things about chips and how they try to do this and that to a person. So there's gonna be some people that's just gonna chance it. You know. But the people that you really worry about is the kids with sickle cell, the kids with bronchitis, the kids with asthma, the kids with respiratory issues, you know, that lower their immune system. So, you know, those the kids that I'm worried about. You know, I'm worried about all of them, but those the kids you worry about, and also the teacher. You know, they're already not making enough. On top of that, are we going to find a way to give hazard relief to the teachers, to the principals? You know what I'm saying? You know, you talking about cutting class sizes down. It seemed like they need to be getting some money together and creating some temporary school hubs. And it may not be temporary, man. The corona might be here to stay for a long time. So all these schools that's beat up and not being used, they need to be getting cut the grass. They need to be going in there and renovating these open schools, and they need to be, you know, getting ready to have students there. Because if you're gonna limit the number of kids, you're gonna need more schools. So you look at what you got, who you expect to enroll back in the neighborhood, and you got to open up some of these small schools and have a limited amount of students here. That's just the way it's going to be. And then sports, that's a whole different issue. You talk about locker rooms, you talk about practicing. You know, they got a lot to figure out. You know, just to deem the schools will be run in the fall. What about when the parents come register? Are you going to have to RSVP to register your kid? Or are we going to have virtual registration where you fax and scan over your stuff? So all these kinks have to be worked out with the school. You got to notify the kids or notify the parents what kids going to have to move to another school because of social distancing, and when can they come back. This is a lot of just small things in a limited amount of time to do. Because if you're talking about limiting the kids in this classroom, you have to open up more schools. Close down Cooley. You can cut Cooley into probably 7 elementary schools or 3 or 4 elementary schools or a couple middle schools or 2 or 3 high schools. That's what they have to do. And then also, do the kids still go to vocational, VOTEC? You know, what about sanitizing the buses? What about social distancing, going to, you know, vocational school and classes, stuff of that nature? What about the gym class and, you know, gym class in the locker room? So it's a lot of things that they got to cover. You know, they got to open up additional schools if they want to do the proper social distancing. So, you know, Gretchen Whitmer got her job cut out for it. But she did make good news. Michigan is the only state who corona cases cut by more than 50%, where Florida just set a national single day high in almost 3,000 cases. Michigan is the only only state where the cases dropped by more than 50%. And a lot of them people was trying to bully Whitmer into opening barbershops, opening back up the community. And it looked like she was the smartest person in the room. You know, a lot of those men and women that went down there with their guns to threaten a woman, which was the ultimate hoe move. You know, you need a gun to go down there to voice your opinion about a female governor. You didn't do that to Rick Snyder, excuse me. You didn't do that with him, and he poisoned the whole city. And a lot of those people come from up north, so he was cool with not having good drinking water. People up there with the Denise County, you know, up there by Flint, I think it is. Y'all was cool with not having good drinking water, but y'all not cool with you know, saving lives. You know, what she did is, when most people cases are you know, rising, ours is falling. So everything she did for the betterment. Now, did it cost them? Hell yeah, it cost. We $3 billion in the hole. But I'd rather be $3 billion in the hole with as much people surviving as possible. But a lot of people that was getting diagnosed with the COVID-19, they were older people, and they was running through the nursing homes like crazy. So, you know, look at some of the nursing homes' death. It was just, you know, killing amongst old people. But one of the things is, I think that they was diagnosing some of those people. They were saying it was COVID, but a lot of times it was ammonia. Okay, it was pneumonia, and there's a reason it's pneumonia, because a lot of these old people laying in their bed, and that's how you get sick in the hospital. Laying in the bed, it's already cold. You're not moving, fluid building the lungs, and a lot of times, I was hearing that they was mistaking COVID-19 for pneumonia. Okay, so they was ruling pneumonia COVID-19. So that's something that you got to look at when you look at the numbers as well too. But at the end of the day, she got the last laugh. She was right so far. Her numbers is dropping by more than 50% now. If you're one of those people that's kind of like conspiracy brother like me about the numbers, I agree with you. I just spit my piece about the difference between COVID and pneumonia getting confused for each other. But if the numbers truly dropping and she opening up the state, you know, so be it. Like I said, it's going to take chances. Chances make champions. You know, we got to go back to work. We got to build the economy, because they not sending no relief, you know, for no real relief to small businesses, no real relief to the landlords. They not stopping. They not saying, oh, we don't got to pay taxes this year. They're not saying that, you know, we not got to pay, you know, property taxes or nothing like that. It's about time. It's time to change. It's time to charge Netflix and Amazon to pay taxes while we build our credit back up. You know, this dude has made multiple $1 billion, you know, during the pandemic. Why shouldn't he have to pay the majority of the taxes? It's time for the big corporations to pay the taxes. They're not losing no money for real. They're not losing no money. They making money. Steve Ballmer and a few other billionaires with Jeff Bezos, they made over $38 billion the first month of the pandemic. So imagine, man, somebody out there making shit. They done made probably over $300 or $500 billion between those same 7 or 8 billionaires that was in that article. And I just, you know, like I said before, you know, religion, and I don't want to get into politics, but religion isn't to protect us. The religion is in place to protect people of power. You know what I'm saying? It's a fence. Religion and laws go hand in hand. It's a fence. It's an invisible fence, but it's actually very, very visible to keep the lower class people from attacking the politician and the wealthy power people. So that's why they put religion and these laws in place, to keep us in order, to keep us intact. So that's something to think about as well too. But let me know what you guys think about Whitmer opening schools, extending the state of emergency, not the stay-at-home order, and you know, also her numbers is the best as far as corona cases dropping in the great country of the United States of America. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out if you have a business question, inquiry, response, video request. Facebook. Twitter's the fastest way, then Facebook, then Instagram. Want to make a donation to the channel? Cash App, PayPal, inscription. Best way to donate for your boy is just share the video. Don't forget, check out the channel out, Goodfellas Sports TV, for more sports, music, news, and entertainment. It's Goodfellas Sports TV right here on YouTube. One time for the one time we gone.